The wheel weaves as the wheel wills. It's a bit of a tongue twister. G'day to all you lovely people and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy and today I wanted to talk about the Wheel of Time TV series, Season 1. Okay, before I get started, there are a few preliminary things I need to say. First, you need to know that The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan is my favourite fantasy series. I have been reading it for over 30 years, so I'm very familiar with the world and the story itself. As a result, it will colour this review. I can't help it. I am simply too familiar with this world and I am viewing it through the perspective of somebody who already knows the story, not through the eyes of someone who has never heard of the Wheel of Time, never read the books. Second, my pronunciation of certain words is not going to match the show or even other people's. The truth is, that is part of the fun of reading fantasy, is that you make up how things sound, even when you find out the correct pronunciation. By then it's stuck in your head and it is really hard to change it and pronounce it properly. My brother and I often have a laugh at each other's expense regarding our pronunciation. But I am not capable of saying Tarvalon. It just sounds wrong. I call it Tarvalon. Tavern. Ale. I don't call them ale. So you're welcome to have a bit of a chuckle at my expense regarding my pronunciation. Thirdly, since I'm so familiar with this story, I think it is best that I split this video into 3 parts, without spoilers, with spoilers, and a summary at the end. And timestamps will be in my description box below. Okay, so let's get started. For those who are unfamiliar with The Wheel of Time, it is based on 14 books by Robert Jordan, all about this thick. There is even a prequel as well. It is epic high fantasy. It is an extremely rich, detailed, complex world. There are many, many major storylines and a cast of thousands, it seems. It can be, I think, a little bit confusing for those who are coming into it cold, who are unfamiliar with this world. A very, very basic summary of the story is it relates to, I guess, a chosen one, the Dragon Reborn, who is meant to fight the Dark One at the last battle. From what I observed, it seems that Season 1 of the Wheel of Time TV show is based on the first book and parts of the second book. Perhaps I'm wrong, and if I am, you guys can correct me in the comments. Season 1 predominantly dealt with who the actual Dragon Reborn was, and introducing, I think, all the different characters who play major roles in this story. Okay. So now we can talk about the show itself. I thought visually it was beautiful. I absolutely loved the scenic shots. It seemed to capture this world that I have known for so long perfectly. The truth is, I think they did an excellent job with the locations, and I thought the sets in particular were magnificent. The ones in the White Tower itself are just beautifully done. It looked authentic and it really did seem that they captured the look of the story, of the places that are referred to in the books. This is what I would have imagined Two Rivers being, or the White Tower. And the scenic landscape was beautifully shot. I thought the directors did, because I think there's more than one, I thought they did a really good job with the visuals of the story. I forgot to mention as to how they portray the magic, the drawing of the One Power, the weaving of the One Power. I really liked the visual of it. I really liked seeing the white light and a little bit of the black light. The hand gestures, however, initially I didn't mind the hand gestures, but as the series progressed, I found it really annoying. It just seemed so stiff and stylized and stilted, actually. It just seemed too over the top. Someone who uses their hands all the time when she talks. Regardless, I think it was too much. So I'm not sure how much I'm loving that. However, I did love the white light. I thought that did a great job at capturing what the magic is like in this world. I really feel that the hand gestures were just not necessary. The music let down the show. It just seemed underwhelming, actually. Usually music in a movie or television show highlights certain aspects of the story. I couldn't even tell you what the music was like in the show because I didn't notice it. It was quite bland, I thought, and something that let down the show. Now let's talk about the cast. Overall, I thought the casting was good. I thought that they chose the right people for the roles. Overall, I thought Rosamund Pike as Moiraine was a good choice, as was the actor for Lan. Egwene, I haven't decided yet if she is the right choice or not. I thought the actor who plays Matt was excellent, in my opinion anyway. However, Perrin, I didn't feel that the actor has enough emotional depth to really convey some of the strong emotions he was feeling throughout the show. I found him a little dull and bland, to be honest. And I don't put that down to the writing. I think that is because of the actor. Now, you might argue that the character Perrin is bland and dull. I don't agree with that. No, I think it was the portrayal by the actor that let it down. Rand. I haven't decided yet. Initially, I thought, I don't think he has the charisma to carry off this character, but I'm open-minded about him. I thought he did a competent job. Overall, I thought the acting was good, not great. Even Rosamund Pike, who I know is very popular and is a good actress, at times I felt she was just too stiff or overacting, trying to portray some emotion just with her expression, and I don't think she pulled it off. I think she tried too hard at times. Okay, the script. In some respects, the language of the books has been modernized. Some of the language that the characters use is a little too modern for my taste, considering this is a fantasy, high fantasy. But that is just a minor criticism I have. I thought though that the script was well written. It wasn't bloated. There was just enough information to convey what they wanted to convey without revealing too much. As for the actual plot, the actual story that we saw during season 1, I have a lot of issues with that. When I started watching the show, I immediately noticed certain things that they had changed, which you expect with an adaptation. Always bothers me though. As far as I'm concerned, if you are basing a film or a TV show on books, any changes that are made should be necessary, should enhance the story, not detract from it. There were some minor changes from the books, and then there were some significant changes. Some, I think, don't detract from the story, others do. I know a lot of films and shows don't actually reflect the books accurately, but it can be done. I remember when the Harry Potter films were announced, I was like, oh no, they're going to get it wrong. And they didn't. They captured the essence of the books beautifully. And I think they could have done the same with The Wheel of Time. But at the end of season 1, I was dissatisfied with some of these changes. Now I'm going to get into some spoilers. And if you haven't watched the show or you haven't read the books, then skip this part until you do. One of the first major changes that they made to the books is they decided that there were 4 ta'veren, not 3. The books, it was very clear that there were only 3, the 3 boys, Mat, Perrin and Rand. I could not see why they included Egwene in that. Egwene plays a significant role in the books. She doesn't need to be a ta'veren as well. Perhaps they did that to make it more suspenseful. I personally didn't think it worked. However, I can't say that I hated it either, but it did bother me a little because that is not what happens in the books. And I'm not sure how I feel about both Egwene and possibly Nynaeve also being ta'veren throughout the show. Another major change is that Perrin is married when we meet him. No, yeah, that, I don't know why that was considered necessary. In the books, all the boys are fairly young. They're like 18, 19, somewhere around there. Perrin was always very shy, very quiet, and he certainly wasn't ready for marriage at that age. I don't see how that improves his character in the show, but I don't know. I suspect the whole reason why Perrin was married and ended up killing his wife is to show why he might be reluctant to take up the axe. That's the only thing I can think of. However, in the books, Perrin does kill a White Cloak and he is racked by guilt. But it would be so much worse if you kill someone you actually love, your wife. I'm just not sure if I like that either. Something I really disliked, however, was how they characterised Mat. Mat, throughout the books, goes through significant changes. And whilst he is a little bit annoying at the beginning of the series, he was never a thief. He was never somebody to steal from the dead. Now, it might be argued that he was stealing from the dead because he was under the influence of the dagger from Shadar Logoth. I don't know. However, Moiraine says in the end of the series that Mat has this darkness to him. Yeah, that is not in line with the books at all, and I'm really hating it so far. It really bothers me that this beloved character, and Mat is one of my favourite characters from the books, is now portrayed as somebody possibly dark. Now, in my opinion, we all have some darkness in us. We are all capable of good and bad acts. If that is what she meant, fine, but I'm not liking the implication that he could possibly turn out to be a dark friend, not Mat. In addition to which, he did go to Fel Dara. He even went to the Eye of the World. They all went to the Eye of the World. And yet in the end, it was just Rand and Moiraine. I don't think this was a major change that affects the actual story itself. But Mat not actually being with this group was, I think, a major change and not one for the better. Some of these changes are not significant and I can accept them, but the ones regarding Mat, for example, I'm really struggling with. I know I haven't spent a lot of time on the differences between the books and the show, but that's because I've decided to make a separate video on that. Let's summarize. Did I like season 1 of The Wheel of Time? I still don't know if I do. Yeah, I don't know if that sounds crazy, but I didn't love it. Yeah, I felt that some of the changes they made were unnecessary and did, I feel, detract from the story. Perhaps I need to view the next season before I can decide whether I can accept these changes or not. The visuals, however, the Trollocs, the Fades, I thought they were very well done. They looked realistic, actually, which isn't always the case with monsters as such. I thought they did an excellent job choosing locations. They looked magnificent, particularly the city of Tar Valon. I thought that was just gorgeous, with the canals and the bridges. I just missed the spires. I wanted spires. Nevertheless, the interior was spectacularly made, even more impressive than my imagination. I think some of the casting I'm still uncertain about. I might need another season before I make up my mind. And I thought the acting was good overall, just not great. In my experience with a lot of TV shows, they need to get into their groove. I'm hoping that they haven't hit their groove yet, and perhaps next season they'll be more familiar with their parts, with their roles, and we will see an improvement in the acting. Being such a beloved series of books, I know that my expectations were very high. Did they meet them? I think they could have done better. Yeah, I really do. Do I think you should watch The Wheel of Time, Season 1? Yes, I do. If you love the books, you are definitely going to watch them. I think you can't help yourself. I don't think people would be disappointed. They may not like some of the changes that they made from the books, but overall I think the creators did a really good job at capturing this world that fans of the books are so familiar with. As for those who have not read the books, I think if you like fantasy, if you like Game of Thrones or other fantastical shows, then it is definitely worth watching. And I would be really interested to hear what your perspectives are of the show, being unfamiliar with it. Because I know those who are familiar with the books will have a different view. You can't help it. Should I score Wheel of Time? You know, I don't usually score films and TV shows, but I'm going to score this. I actually score between 1 and 10. And fair warning, if it is below 5, I will not watch it again. And I don't give anything a 10. I am a really tough scorer, apparently. I'm trying to be better, but yeah, so take that into account. I am going to give The Wheel of Time Season 1 6. 6 out of 10. Let me know what you think of my score. Am I too harsh? Probably. You may not agree. I'd love to hear from you anyway. I would also love to hear what you thought of Season 1 of The Wheel of Time. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you in between, like I am? And you can let me know down in the comments, or you can contact me on Instagram. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then you can do the usual. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.